These last few years have made us question everything. Our relationships, our jobs, what constitutes an office, and who we are. In a world filled with chaos, confusion, and uncertainty, it's time for some clarity. It's time to start understanding one another. It's time to start understanding ourselves. We envision a world where everyone knows their why. But even more, we envision a world where everyone knows their WHY.os. Their why, their how, and their what. The operating system that drives you, that lets the world know where you stand, what your unique gift is, and most importantly, who you are. WHY.os. Are you ready?
Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to Why Not Wednesday. I am excited about our guest today. Today we have with us Mark Hunter, the sales hunter, and Mark is recognized as one of the top 50 most influential sales and marketing leaders in the world. He's an author of 3 different books, A Mind for Sales, which I just finished reading, and I loved it, Mark. Lots of great stuff in there. High Profit Prospecting, which is on my list, and High Profit Selling. You know, one of the things I love to do is I love to read books, Mark. So I'm excited every time I get a great author and I get to read their content and then have them on the show and share some of that content with Y Nation. So welcome to the show, Mark Hunter. How are you?
I'm doing great, but I just want to jump off that cliff. That sounds like a rush. What a rush.
Did you see?
Yes.
Wasn't that a great video?
Yes. I mean, in your opening video, that guy jumped. I want to be that guy. So can you hold on while I go find a cliff? No, okay.
Well, let's make sure we find a safe cliff. And you know what I'll do is I'll make sure and find Bella, who puts together our video, and what she does in every video. We've always got water in it. So I don't know what it is, but we've always got at the end some water. And you know, I bet she can tell us where that is. So Mark, you know, one of the things I put this quote up today when I was talking about you being on the show. To me, sales is not a job. Sales is my life, and helping others achieve their full potential is my mission. I love that quote. So what do you mean by sales is my life? And sales is your lifestyle. I saw that in the book too. Yeah. So tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, what it means is we always tend to think of sales as moving a product or service between two people. Sales is about helping others. It's a conversation. It's relationship. This is why I say you don't close a sale, but you open a relationship.
Right.
And it's when you take the time to create a level of trust and authenticity with the other person, it's amazing what they'll share.
Right.
And you're going to help them see and achieve what they didn't think was possible.
Right.
That's what sales is. Mm-hmm. Sales is not about delivering widget A to person B. Anybody can do that. If that's what you do, you will be replaced. It's just a matter of when.
Right. If you're just an order taker and you're delivering a commodity, right, you can be replaced. But I love there's such an emphasis on the relationships in the book. And I want to make sure and recognize a couple of people that are always here. But Bruce, Captain Kirk, he was our guest last week. Bruce, welcome. Jerry Fletcher from the Northwest, by the way. He's up in you're in
well, I'm in Dallas now, but I'm originally from Seattle and I lived in Portland. So Jerry, I got your backside.
Jerry's in your neck of the woods, and then our good friend Dave Sanderson. So you and I met at Larry Levine's Selling from the Heart Sales Leaders Retreat a couple of months ago. And what a great meeting that was, to meet you, to meet Dave Sanderson, to meet Larry Levine and Daryl Amy live and in person. It was just a blast and got so much out of that. And Dave delivered such a great keynote. It was so fun.
You know, stop and think about that for a moment. I've known Larry for a number of years. I know him for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And great people attract great people. Yeah. In that meeting, it was not a huge meeting.
No.
In that meeting, every person was a person of integrity. Every person had a level of respect for one another. Every person listened to what was happening. And every person there was there to support one another. And that's what I love. That's what I like. Because again, when you find smart people, hang out with them. Hang out with them. It's amazing what'll happen.
I love Dave Sanderson's quote, proximity is power, right?
Yes, it is.
Hang out with people that elevate you. And there's a two-way to that too, right? I think a lot of people say, hey, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
I think there's a time to give where you might be the smartest person in the room, where you're giving back a little, but you want to limit that.
Yes, you do want to limit that. I believe the quote can be attributed to Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
He said, you become the sum of the 5 people you associate with the most.
Absolutely.
Pick your friends wisely. That second part is mine. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, you really got to pick your friends wisely, because it's amazing. I happen to be in a mastermind group with 3 other individuals who are just rock stars. And we met this last weekend, and we made the comment that we lift each other's boats.
Right.
We lift each other's boats. And I always feel like, oh, I'm the one who's learning the most. And we went around the room, and the others said, no, they're the ones who think they're learning the most. I mean, again, because when you come in with this attitude of learning and giving,
right,
it is amazing at what happens. But you first have to stop, listen, and genuinely care about the other person.
Yeah. Well, David Fish, who I had on, he's one of our coaches. He's out of Australia. He talked about, are you listening to respond? Are you listening to win? Are you listening to learn? Or are you listening to help? And there's a big difference. If you're listening to win, that's what politicians do. We see them have these horrible debates where they're yelling on top of each other. Are you listening to learn, which is different? And then the ultimate, I think, listening to help, which is, I think, what you're talking about.
It is because, again, many times what happens is the other person will say something, and it may not be the full thing of what they're saying. But if you've created an element of trust and respect with the person, you can come back and ask them a question on that, get them to build on it. And then it's amazing at what will come out of it. Mm-hmm. But if all you're focused on is getting through your 20 questions to get to the discovery call, or going through your 20 questions to get to the close, that's never going to happen. And what you're going to do is you may wind up with a shallow sale at low margin, but that's all you're going to wind up with.
Yeah, then you're commoditizing yourself. You're going through a script. I had a great conversation yesterday, and Mark, I should run this one by you. He's a high producer, really high level at his company. They have a new sales leader at their company, and he says, Dan, I believe what you believe. I believe that I have to, if I know someone, if I know them really well, I will be able to help them better. And so I believe in asking questions and getting to know. So this new sales leader came in and said, look, here's the script. This is all we're going to do. We're not going to waste people's time trying to get to know them and pretend we care. We're just going to tell them, this is what we do. Do you want to buy it or not?
See, what I love is people will push back on that. Mark, that's okay for complicated sales. It doesn't work in simple ones. I said, hold it. Listen, watch the good waiter. All you're doing is ordering dinner. Right. But the waiter says, what would you like? And, let me suggest this. Oh, you mentioned this. And what do? They actually just put things out there on the table in discussion. And what does it do? It creates a better occasion. Now it goes from a meal to an event.
An experience.
An experience. Monday night, my wife and I were dining with a friend of ours here in the Dallas area. And we had wait staff that were just personified that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, but we wound up having a delightful experience because of the wait staff all the way through, from the moment we were seated at the table, all the way through to the check and the nice tip that I left her. Yeah.
My daughter, she's 11 years old. She's big on that. She talks to everyone. She's one of these kids that's just so friendly, and wait staff that impress her get a good tip because they pay attention to her. They listen to her. There's a place we go probably a couple times a month, and we just we get the same waiter every time because he's so good and so friendly. And you're right. If you, according to some people, if you have good food, people are going to come and buy.
They will. I years ago, I did a deal for, this was a restaurant chain, in terms of helping them get more tips. And one of the things we found, and I'd come into it with the belief that if you just do 2 light touches
Mm-hmm.
on the person who's going to sign the check on their shoulder, just 2 light touches over the course of the meal, your tip will exponentially go up. And it's interesting, people at the chain refuted that. They did it and it worked because
Love that.
it was the sign of connecting. Now, you might say, oh, that's a game. But here's what happened. The touch, just a light touch for just a moment, wound up creating a conversation. And see, it's the conversation that flowed from it. That's what created. All the touch did was set the table. Oh, there's a bad pun. To be able to have a conversation.
I love that. You know, I love when people are, you know, for me, it's those mom-like waitresses like in Maryland. They all call you hun, you know, and you feel like you're at mom's house when they do that. So there's a lot to do with that. Hey, you know what? I'm almost forgetting the format of the show, Mark. So one of the things I want to do is tell everybody.
We have to start all over again, right?
Okay. I know. We're going to go back to the beginning. Let me play the video so you can see the cliff jump again, Mark. And if you get in trouble for cliff jumping with your wife, don't blame it on me. But let's start with your why operating system, Mark. So your why is to find a better way and share it with others. Your how is to simplify the complex, and your what is to contribute to the success of others. And man, as I read your book, boy, did I see that. But I want to ask you, how does it feel to you to know these 3 things about yourself, these 3 beliefs about finding better ways and sharing them with others by simplifying things in order to contribute to people's success?
It creates clarity. It creates clarity in your thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk about keeping it simple. You know, we in sales, we in life are guilty of overcomplicating everything.
Yeah.
I go, just keep it simple. Just absolutely keep it simple. And when you contribute, what's contribute? Contribute is engaging to other people. It's contributing to help other people. And what do you end up doing? You wind up creating a better way.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I if I can't get something done fast, my wife can attest to this.
Yeah.
It doesn't get done.
Yeah.
I want to be able to. So what I may have to do is take that complicated task. And it's funny, but I view everything I do as a jigsaw puzzle. Every day I wake up and I have a series of jigsaw puzzles I'm working on.
Right.
It's just a matter of how big they are.
Yeah.
But what I'm not focused on the entire jigsaw puzzle. I'm just focused on this particular corner, this particular piece,
Yes.
this particular area. That's it. Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't try to solve world hunger.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. Just keep it simple.
Doing the little things, right? Mother Teresa used to say, do little things with great love. You don't have to do great things. Do small things and get to your goal.
And that really comes out of what one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
I mean, Atomic Habits. It's the small little things that you do repetitively. And when you do them repetitively, it's amazing what happens. I work out every morning. It's not a complex workout. It's not, I don't go to the gym. We actually have an extra bedroom in the house. That's it. It's not complicated. But the fact that I do it every day, because if I had to go to a gym, I'd probably only get there 3-4 days a week at most.
Yeah.
But because it's simple, I can do it every day and it delivers the results I want to achieve.
I got rid of my home gym. I go to a gym, Mark, but my workout is simple. I get on the elliptical and then I do push-ups and sit-ups. It's just working out, because even if you only do 40 push-ups a day, if you do that 52 weeks, that's a lot of push-ups.
It is. I mean, it's not hard. I have a set number of curls I do, lifts, dead weight I lift, and a set number of sit-ups every day. And that's it. I mean, it's my routine is so simple that I can push the button on the coffee maker and go to the back bedroom, get that taken care of. And now we make a big pot of coffee.
So are you like me? Because I drink coffee all day long.
Yeah. It's no 3 or 4 cups. This is like 12 cups to the max.
Nice.
Slow brew.
Well, listen, I'm gonna share some love from the folks that are on here. Hugh Hornsby says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I think he was commenting on the waitress, but I gotta highlight Danica Treble. Better way, simplify, contribute. She's your WHY.os twins. That's really rare, but even better, Liz Wendling. Better way and simplify it. I don't know if you guys know each other, but if you don't,
I know
you need
Liz.
to know Liz.
Liz is great. She's out of the great state of Colorado.
Yes, she is, just north of me, and she is fantastic. I have learned so much from Liz ever since I got to know her. So she's on here. And let's see here. I wanted to recognize, let's see. I think that's it. That's all. That's all the recognitions we're doing for now. But better way, simplify. What a great combination. In talking to Liz and to, like I said, looking to your book, nothing better than somebody can find a better way to do something and then share it simply. Because there are other better way people, but there might be better way challenge. And so when they challenge, they're out of the box and different, and there's nothing wrong with that. But something about simplifying things and making them easy to understand makes it so much more valuable. I think we all need a little simplification in our lives.
We do, because it also keeps us from getting caught up in shiny object.
Yes.
I see this. I mean, in the solopreneur, a lot of your listeners a lot of your viewers are solopreneur.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't working. So then, here's the shiny object, squirrel. And we race off and we attack something else.
Yeah.
And we go down that path for a while. And I know early on in my career as a solopreneur, I was guilty of that. And it just, I'll give you an example. Probably, I'll have to go back and find the audio files. Probably about 12 or 13 years ago, I was doing a podcast. I was one of the early people in podcast.
Yeah.
And it wasn't growing fast enough, so I got rid of it. Could you imagine if I had kept it?
A 13-year-old podcast today?
Yeah, where it would be today.
Yeah.
I mean, how big, how massive it would be.
Right.
And I did the same thing with a video thing.
Mhm.
I simply, it's staying. I'm going to give you a full confession here. Before COVID, I would do an airport a day I would do a video a day from an airport.
Yeah.
Every morning I would do a video in an airport, just a quick sales tip, 15, 20 seconds. And I did that for 3-4 years. We stopped because of COVID.
Mm.
Why? That was dumb.
Yeah.
So after the first year, we're going to kick that back up again.
Love it.
We're going to be doing it. And again, it's simplified.
Yeah.
We found a better way to post these videos. So it's not going to take much time for me. And we're contributing to help other salespeople. Boom.
Love it. And it's simple. I heard you. So you have a podcast, which I'm looking forward to being on, but you also have a live show, a 6-minute show that you do.
Yes.
Once a week. Tell me about that, because talk about simple.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. First of all, I made the upper half of my class possible. So I can't remember a lot of stuff. So what I do is I have a podcast, the Sales Center podcast. It's a traditional form. I have an interview. I interview a guest, and it runs about 22-24 minutes. But then I also have another But then I also do a second show each week where it's just me, and it may be as short as 4 minutes up to about 9 minutes. But that's it. Right. And it's just me talking about one thing, and it's just very, very simple. And people love it. People love it. I do another podcast with Meredith Elliott Powell. Yeah. Sales Logic. And we've been doing that for several years. You talk about simplify. Yeah. We do it every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Yeah. And it is a set routine. It is just, there's no thinking, no, believe me, it's just done.
No matter what, right? It's going to get done.
Yes.
Love that, Mark. So let's talk about the book. And now, again, you've written 3 books, but I read mine for sales before getting on with you, just because it was so simple and easy. I happened to have a break in my reading. I'm always reading 2 or 3 books at a time, but this one really caught my eye. I love the 5 sections. So you have a section on your mind, a section on your greatest assets, a section on minefields and mind traps, section on letting your customers control your mind. I want to talk about this one. Your mind drives your success. Being passionate about sales is what your customers expect. I could feel the passion that you have for sales as I was reading the book. Tell me, how do we translate that into success, that passion?
Well, it's simple, because if what you sell doesn't help the other person, why are you selling it? If what you sell is only taking money from them, you're doing them a disservice. Right. But when I can sell something to somebody and they achieve results, wow. Now, the outcome they achieve might be totally different than what you expected. Right. But it's an outcome that they expected. It's an outcome that they were looking for. I get that all the time. Mm-hmm. I have customers that hire me for different outcomes. Right. Great. Fine. Let me understand what that outcome is, and I'm going to help you do that. And then what happens is they wind up coming back. They wind up coming back again and again and again.
Love that. Solving the problem. Section 2, your greatest asset, time, mind, and your network. and you talk about protecting your time. Discipline is a virtue. Either you use Jim Rohn's quote, either you run the day or the day runs you. Man.
That is so true. And especially right now, we're getting into the holidays here, and it's easy for people to sit there and just kind of lay back a little bit. And I get it. I get it. We all need time off. I get it.
Yep.
But this is why I say you're either on or you're off. You're either on or you're off. So with your time management, and this is something I've been really, really working on. Last night, I made the comment to my wife after dinner. I said, we're going to watch a Christmas movie. She kind of looked at me like, what? You're not going to work? No. And I don't think I picked up I think I picked up my iPad once for just about a minute, but that was it. But yeah, because I was focused in, dialed in.
Well, you got to schedule everything, including the breaks, right? You've got to have that time to be down. You know, we have a tradition to watch a family movie every Sunday. And I don't do anything else except we're going to watch a family movie. So it's the 11-year-old gets a week, I get a week, and then my wife gets a week, and then we just rotate who gets to pick the movie.
And you know what? Your kids will remember that 20 and 30 years from now.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope you're selecting. No, I won't talk about your movie.
Well, listen, you and I have a one movie. I posted about this on Monday, and I just couldn't believe that I had a fellow Tommy Boy fan for one of the greatest sales movies of all time. And that scene that you talk about, and I know in the book you're very careful not to spoil it for the 3 people that haven't seen it. But listen, that pizza, that scene where he's trying to get the chicken wings at the pizza place, and he just starts connecting. Tell us what you love about that scene.
Well, what I like about it is here's a situation where he just stayed in the game. He just simply stayed in the game. And it also drives home the piece. It's what I call the 10 a.m. rule. I used to call it the pizza. I think in the book I called it.
The pizza days.
Yeah. The idea is that on Monday you achieve something of significance, and it makes your week. And that was actually given to me by a company that I was working with. I've since have changed what I call the 10 a.m. rule. By 10 a.m. every morning, you want to have achieved something significant.
Yes.
If you do, it's amazing how much better the day goes. It's amazing how much more motivated you are. It's amazing. And if your day should go to pot, you've still accomplished something.
Yes.
That's what I like about it.
I love that. And it is such key and simple advice. But you know what? I got to give somebody a hard time, Mark. I found one of those 3 people. Look at this.
Oh, Liz, buy the movie. Send me the bill.
It is $3.99 on Amazon.
Liz, I was actually going to say, if anybody hasn't seen it, buy it and send the bill to you. But I'll say, Liz, hey, I know you. Send the bill to me. I will. In fact, you know what? You and I will watch it sometime.
We should have a Tommy Boy watch party. Watch for that on my LinkedIn. That would be fun, just to invite a bunch of sales leaders and let's watch it together, and we'll set a time and we can have a live chat going on LinkedIn. That could be a lot of fun, Mark.
So many priceless lines in that movie.
It is so good. I like when he says, there's book smart and there's street smart. Now, book smart, that left the train station a long time ago for you, but we all have the ability to listen, to pay attention, to understand what people need and what they want to hear, right?
It's not complicated if you let the customer drive. And that runs counter to what a lot of people say. Oh, you can't let the customer. No, I say let the customer control the process.
Absolutely.
Because they happen to be smart.
Yeah.
And let the customer drive, because it's going to help you get to the solution that you need to get to a lot sooner. This whole idea, I'm the salesperson, I got to control the whole process. That's the person who shows up with 20 questions and you go,
Yes. So we got Larry Long. Larry Long is a good friend of Hugh Hornsby, so we call him L squared. Hugh Hornsby is H squared. And if you don't know, I'm D squared. So we got a bunch of square people. I love this line from the book. Don't let customers control your mind. In section 4, you talk about speed sales and simplifying the process. But one of the things that I love is you talk about the fact that listening doesn't take time. A lot of people think, if I take time to ask all those questions, it's going to take a lot more time. And it actually shortens the sales process. Don't you think, Mark?
It is. It's a little bit like I was going to say, look at the map before you leave, but no, get it into Google Maps before you leave, because otherwise you think you may know where you're going,
right?
And suddenly go. I remember one time I was driving from Connecticut to Buffalo, New York. This is embarrassing. I thought I knew the way. You do not go through Pennsylvania to get to Buffalo, New York. Just saying.
Yeah. So you took a little bit of a detour that day, huh?
I still remember that. My wife was with me. We were going up. I had some business up there, and we're going to see some good friends. And yeah, it was about an hour going in the too far without turning right and going north.
I live in New Mexico, so I'm in big state country. But I remember living in the East Coast, and if you take a wrong turn on the East Coast, you could pass 3 states pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're in 3 different states,
Including the state of confusion. Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
For sure. I
yeah.
love that.
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, that's the challenge. And then to get back on the right track, it only costs you $38 in tolls. So that's
Right.
another story. So yeah.
I'll finish with this one from the book. Again, great job on the book. Great start for me to get to know Mark Hunter. So in section 5, you talk about the future of sales, but you talk about having a mind for sales, and you talk about the success wheel: motivation, success, confidence,
Yeah.
and momentum. And that really was what Tommy Boy did, right? He had motivation, he succeeded, and then he got some confidence, and then he built that momentum. So tell me where that came from in your career, because you didn't start out as a stellar seller.
No. I got fired from my first 2 sales jobs. You read that in the beginning of the book. And then you probably go, I'm listening. I'm reading.
Why am I reading this, right?
Why am I reading this? Right. But it was because I didn't have the right motivation. But when you get the right motivation, what happens is it begins to shift your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to achieve success.
Right.
And a little bit of success then creates confidence.
Yeah.
And what does that do? It creates momentum. This is why I like the 10 a.m. rule.
Right.
Because if I can achieve something significant by 10 a.m., and guess what? I'm motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I've achieved success. I got some confidence, and now I got momentum. Boom! Drop the mic, as Larry Long would say. Drop the golden mic, as Larry.
Drop the golden mic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
One of the coolest things about what you're talking about there is, like earlier today, I got a little bit of a headache and had to just kind of sit down, to turn off the computer, take a couple of Advil, and sit down. But you're right. I had done some big things already. And so I think it's important to have those 10 a.m. I love that 10 a.m. rule, and loving Mondays.
Yes, Mondays. Here's the thing. I see so many people, what they do is they ease into Monday.
Yeah.
Well, you're blowing off 20% of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see people right now, we're doing this the end of December, and people are not getting prepared. Somebody asked me, are you going to take a lot of time off for Christmas? I said, not really, because I'm not yet ready for January.
Right.
Because I don't want to sit there and say January is when I'll get ready. Well, that's right. If I spend January getting ready, 8.5% of the year is now gone.
Yeah.
8.5% is now gone. So I got to work to get myself, my act together, so that I can enter the new year ready. It's so key to be planning. This is why I say tomorrow begins today.
Yeah.
You never end the day without knowing exactly what you're going to be working on tomorrow. And you sleep a lot better that way. Surprisingly enough, you actually do.
You know what, Mark, you hit the nail on the head. So a lot of people talk about Sunday planning and doing it right before you go to bed. I can't do Sunday evening planning because that's when we do family movie night.
There you go.
But you know what I do? I wake up at 4 every day, even on the weekends. So I do my Sunday planning on Sunday morning. And you're absolutely right. I enjoy my Sunday because I know that's out of the way. And then I sleep better because my Monday is planned so you can hit the ground running. So thank you for sharing. That's just amazing, great insight and great life advice, I think.
It is. It really, really is life, because time will control you if you don't control it. Time is the one resource that's finite. Right. You, myself, we have the same amount of time as Bill Gates, the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett, everyone else, Elon Musk, everyone else. It's how we choose to use it. Yeah. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. Invest in other people. Well, because that has a compounded impact.
I love that. And thank you so much for bringing that up, because one of the things I want to talk about, guess what? We're going so well here that we're almost at the end. And I always want to ask, what's your biggest why not moment, Mark? You've been a sales professional for a long time. What's the one time you said why not to something and it worked out so well? You're so glad you said why not.
Well, I back here about a couple of years ago, I was saying, why not do a podcast? It's not too late. So we actually started the Sales Center podcast a year ago in February. I already had a podcast, but I said, why not? I can do a second podcast. And it's amazing what you can accomplish. Mm-hmm. When you ask yourself, why not? You then begin to challenge yourself, why I can. Right. Here's how I can. And then it happens. break it down, simple tasks. Remember, my whole gift is simplify.
Simple tasks. Do
Simplify.
simple things every single
Yeah.
day. So let me ask you this. As we're going through this conversation, I'm just learning so much, and I know our audience is getting so much out of it. Here's some valuable advice, because a lot of us keep our phone by the bed. I don't. If I do charge my phone by the bed, but I turn it off. I don't want it buzzing, and I don't want to get tempted to look at it. But keeping a journal somewhere where you can write down ideas, because sometimes you get that great idea in the middle of the night, and you don't want to go all the way up to. For me, my office is on the second floor. I don't want to walk all the way up there to write it down. Love that idea, Hugh. Just keep something.
Hugh is so smart. Hugh is great. I love Hugh.
Keep a 3x5 card. That's what I do. I keep a 3x5
Yeah.
card. Just take a
Yeah.
quick note, and then
Yeah.
I have, I'm showing my age here, but I have the readers with the little lamp on them, so I don't wake up my wife. I just turn on the little light. I can write my little note and go back to bed.
Oh.
That is some good stuff, man. Mark, where can we go to find your podcast, the Sales Hunter podcast? And then if we want to listen to your short one-on-one videos.
Well, it's all in the Sales Hunter podcast. I mean,
Okay.
that's the short ones and the long ones. And then the other podcast is Sales Logic. And both of them are out there on iTunes, Stitcher,
All the
Spotify,
platforms.
everything.
Yeah,
And
all the platforms that you're
all
out there.
platforms. Yeah. And of course the website is thesaleshunter.com.
Perfect.
And
So
that is my
saleshunter.com?
thesaleshunter.com. And that is my real last name. I did not change it.
You did not change your name. I love that you're the Sales Hunter. One of the things I want to make sure that we do is talk about the big thing. What is the big thing you love doing? And that's keynote speaking. You kick off big sales meetings, right?
Yeah, without a doubt, Outbound, that big event we do every year, whether it be that or sales conferences, that's the ability to take the stage. I don't do it from an ego standpoint. I do it from a sense of humility, humbleness, but it's the ability to impact people and genuinely allow yourself to come through. That's what's huge.
You have been an amazing guest for us here today. Mark, we're at the top of the hour. I like to keep it right to about half an hour. So what do you say we end on that note?
Okay, I'm out of here. Hey, I'm going to go find a cliff to dive off of.
All right, Mark, be safe when you're doing that. If you're not a good swimmer, make sure you wear a life jacket. Guys, let's have a great rest of the week. I know we're not going to see a lot of you until after Christmas, so enjoy the Christmas holiday. We'll see you back next week. We've got Dave Sanderson next Wednesday. It's going to be another fun, amazing podcast interview, and I can't wait to meet him and talk to him and share him with the rest of you guys. So have a great Christmas. Have a great Wednesday, Mark, and thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
I'm glad I could open for Dave.
See you, Mark.